November 4th. We just got into Colorado. Wyatt and I have mule deer tags. We are within about 2 hours of our spot here. Pretty cold out, chilly, and anxious to get out there and get set up. Should be at camp by about noon. Have time to set up camper and maybe get an evening hunt in. I think the deer will be up and running today because it's cold, and a little bit of snow last night, I guess, came through the area, so mule deer rut. We got 2 buck tags. Hopefully we'll get them filled. We got 5 days to hunt. All right, it's about 3:30, and I finally made a decision on what we're going to do tonight. We spent the last hour driving around looking at some water holes and noticing that there is just no water anywhere. The only thing that's got water in it is a couple cattle tanks where some ranchers still got some cattle going, so we're kind of keying off of that. Where the cows are, there must be water, and let's hunt the public land nearby some water, at least something. So we got a spot here not far from camp, about 3:30 now, so we're going to go head out there, and we got about an hour and a half, no, 2.5 hours till dark here, so should be plenty of time. Play in the wind, looking for some deer bedded close to water. Our strategy for tonight. Alright, that's what we're trying to get to up here. Gonna get up to the top of that stuff. Got the wind blowing straight in our face right now, so we're gonna be walking into the wind. Get up top and look down in some of them cracks and hopefully find something. This country doesn't look too steep from the road, but a little bit of a hike for Jason. Got the sun getting pretty low on the horizon. Still haven't seen any deer. We kind of hiked way off the road here, so shortly we're going to turn around and start heading back. Alright, it's the second morning of our hunt. The sky's just starting to light up, so we're going to head out to a spot we've tried last time. About a mile hike, and as the sun's coming up we'll be able to watch a pretty big area, do some scouting, see if there's any deer in this area or not. Last night we saw nothing, so holding out for this morning. If we don't see anything today or this morning, we're going to have to move, find a different area to hunt, because it's just so dry. It seems like that maybe the deer are not even here. We're going to find out. Well, we've given this spot a couple hours and have not seen a single deer or any other creature for that matter. So we're going to drop down to the bottom and hike up that draw back towards the truck just to look for any sign at all. But looks like they're not in this bluff country, and at least we haven't found yet. So we're going to head for some ag country. It's 11:30. We just met up with a fellow hunter who's been out here for 30 years, he says, and he knows some of the landowners, some of the locals. Gave us a bunch of tips. Our first tip here, right here, he says there's a little square of national forest, and he said they're just on the other side of this. So we just pulled off the road, gonna hike across this, and he said there's some cuts or I don't know, ditches or something. He said that's where they're at. So 11:30, kind of a middle day. We're gonna go see if we can find some bedded deer. for me. About to blow away out there. What happened, Wyatt? Got the goggles
Sand
on?
hurts.
Got sandblasted. This wind is unbelievable. Like 40 miles an hour today. We're just trying to find a place the deer can get out of the wind, and so far we can't find it. Just open prairie and tumbleweeds and dust everywhere. It's about 2:30 now. We just met up with the landowner here in front of us that owns quite a bit of land around here, and he was like, no problem, hunt whatever. So first area, just not too far from the farm here, is like a row of pine trees that are planted. There's actually another one on the other side of the road. We're parked on the road here, so we're going to hit both of these pines, thinking with all this wind, maybe we'll catch a deer bedded up in there somehow. It's going to be a lot of fast action if we do bump a deer out of there, because it'll no doubt go running out. So be a quick hunt, and then after that, probably check out some of his other farms this evening. It's the morning of November 6th, out here mule deer hunting in Colorado. We got to our spot and just getting it ready to head on out. We're going to walk up a little lane here where we can get to a vantage point and look over some country that we saw deer last night. So, it's still dark out, but it's time to go. Alright, I got to my spot. Had a good time. Got set up just watching it get light out. I can see down in front of me, probably 100 yards out in front of me, is a giant basin that the farmer has. We saw some does in it last night from the road. I'm sure as soon as it gets light enough, I'll be able to see out there and hopefully see some deer moving. I'm kind of sitting on the edge of a bluff, and I'm thinking the deer during the day will come up with these bluffs to get out of the wind. So that's my plan. Time for a little tailgate breakfast. Morning hunt's been real slow. Well, it's Sunday evening. Got about an hour before sunset. We struck out all day. Have not seen a deer yet. Even though we're in the same area, we chased like 4 deer last night, and then right at dark saw like 6 more deer down by the farms. So with that many deer in the area, I can't believe we haven't seen anything today. So we're dividing up, divide and conquer. Told Wyatt to go watch one end of this basin, and I'm going to watch another. Kind of overlooks the farm ground, kind of where I was at this morning. I don't know. They got to be here, but it was super windy this morning. And then all of a sudden the wind just basically died and changed 180 degrees. And now it's starting to kick up again. Kind of a southeast wind. I'm going to follow this fence line out to the end, and then there's like a bluff. It's just going to drop off. It's full. Probably half an hour till sunset, but I'm overlooking this great big bottom that looks kind of overgrown. guess I'm just hoping there's a deer down in there that's going to stand up soon. Alright, we got a doe, 2 fawns, probably half a mile from me now, but first deer I saw, them. It's Monday, November 7th, out here on our mule deer hunt. I just dropped Wyatt off for our afternoon sit. We've been seeing some deer in this field next to the guy's house. He gave us permission to hunt it. So I dropped off Wyatt. I was going to go up high in the bluffs and kind of be the scout. And I'm driving past the guy's house, and in his barnyard, well, it's kind of an overgrown barnyard, looked like 4 some does, some fawns, and at least 1 nice buck. It looked like a 3x3 or something like this. So I wonder if it's the group we spooked this morning that circled around. So I'm going to crest over the hill and just kind of do a drive-by. I don't want to spook them. And maybe I can get into position if they do get out of his farm and get out into the pasture land where we can hunt. I'm going to try. It's like 3:50 now, and sunset's a little after 5, so about an hour and a half of light. Well, the sun's gone down, moon's come up, wind is still kicking. I'm still sitting here by the farm hoping this buck was going to get up and move, but he's not. They actually bedded down right next to the building, so probably out of luck unless something spooks them out of there real soon. They're still 300 yards away. They would need to come across the field here, get away from the farm for me to shoot. As I was laying there in the ditch, I happened to turn around, look behind me, up on the hill, looked like 2 does coming my way. Thankfully, they crossed the ditch that I was in without getting spooked and headed towards the buck and the other deer by the farm. The buck started chasing one of the does around, and little by little got closer to me. Well, I just got off a shot. Those deer took forever to come across the field, but he got to about 200 yards. It was getting dark, so I shut off the camera to focus on the shot. I was pretty steady and squeezed one off. I saw it hit him. Pretty sure he just dropped right there. So it's been about almost a half an hour now. So we're taking the truck back, get it closer to the spot, grab the flashlights. We're going to go see if we can recover this deer. Yes! I knew he had 3 points on the one side, I thought, but he's got 4 on this side here. Oh, and a brow. Wow. Thank you. He probably went only maybe 50 yards from where we shot, so it's hard to tell in this big, tall tumbleweed stuff where he was standing. I couldn't have a reference. The field was so big that I knew he was somewhere close by, and I was hoping he didn't go too far. There he is. The next morning was our last day of hunting. We tried to get Wyatt on a deer, but the ones we seen were on private property. We went back to camp for lunch, enjoyed a little venison tenderloin, and spent our final evening watching this herd of deer with a nice buck in it. Just couldn't get close.